Baba and we ate together on a little carpet under the trees, the shade of a tree, and the Mandli ate separate. But when we reached the place, we would be tired and we want to now relax and, what I want to say is be comfortable and all that. But the village people, as soon as they knew, of course they would know, because the orchard is somewhat near the village. It's not so very far away, maybe half a mile or 3/4 of a mile or 1 mile. But people at once know our carriage is coming, so many people on the road, they see from far. So they tell each other, oh, come and see new kind of people or something like that. And so they all come to see, and we would be with our caravan trying to unpack, and here a big crowd all around us will be standing to watch what we are doing. So we had, and Baba had told us before starting for new life, the rules that we must not get angry, irritated. We must not say rude word or like that. Hurt anyone's feelings. So, wow, I think Meheru should continue. So when these people all stood around, we were a bit like this, that we want to now relax. We've just reached this place with such walking so many miles and waiting for camp destination to camp there. And when we reached there, there's a crowd of people all standing around us. So how can we relax and be at home? We want to wash our feet, we want to be comfortable in every way. But no, they all were standing around, and not just women, also men all standing around to watch us. And we said, but why didn't you go to the men? The men are there. Oh yes, but we want to see the carriage, this new kind of carriage, because we were always near the caravan, our caravan, and we were always near, because our things were in the caravan, so we had to be near our caravan to fetch our little bags from inside, or mug or anything, teacups or something like that. So Gavir would then say that we are only women here, so women can stay here, but you all men can go to the Mardana. Mardana means the men mandali. Go to where the men are. The men should go to the men. And so very sweetly, she was feeling inside. So, how do you say?
Give them a scold.
She felt like this too. Why don't you go there? But she couldn't say it in a scolding way. She had to say it softly and sweetly. And so we had to take care that we don't break Baba's orders. So she would tell them like that, and then the men would leave. But of course, the children and the women all would be standing around watching us every moment. Can you imagine that? So it's very funny. Then I would put a little carpet, that they'd watch us. They bring the carpet, then we'll look inside the caravan from where we are bringing things and all that. It was very funny. And then Baba would come. We said, now Baba's come. What will Baba say? Such a crowd all around. Baba also won't feel comfortable. So we would tell the people standing around. We said, now we are going to have tea, huh? We say namaste. Oh yes, you have your tea. Why not? They would say that. Still, they would be standing around. Funny. Then of course some of them would see the tea kettle coming and all that. So many of them would leave. But a few would still be standing there. So we said, we are having tea, yes? Oh yes, have tea, of course, have nice and hot tea. They would say that, still they would be looking on. And Baba would smile at them. Baba would say, and let them be. So a few would be standing there. So at all the destinations, we also didn't have that convenience of being free and I feel at home, Always, as soon as you reach there would be crowds of people around you. So that is why new life is to be experienced. To talk of it, it does not come exactly.
I'm just a mile or two before we reached our camp. The Tonga wheel had broken. So, and there was a smallish town a few miles away, about 6 or 8 miles away. We were just outside, we were going to stop just outside a village, and there was no blacksmith there or carpenter to mend anything. So he and Baidur, they decided to take the wheel in the other tonga to go and get it mended and then return. But you see, in the mornings and in the evenings it was very cold, but walking during the daytime with the hot sun, after being so covered up, we started discarding our warms, and he was in just a shirt and shorts, whereas Baidur, he kept on all his coats. He never, and his turban and everything. He said heat or cold weather. He just wore the same thing throughout the day and the night. So the others, I think, warned Donkin to take a warm with him. He says just an hour or two, it won't take long. And I don't think the carpenter or mend the wheel was in the town there. They had to wait so many hours to get it done. But actually what happened was, when they returned to camp, it was nearing midnight when they returned. And he, in those clothes of his, he was absolutely shivering with the cold. When he arrived, they had to make a big fire around him, cover him up with all the blankets they could procure heat. And even then he had that cold inside his bones. It took him all night to get it out of him. So these are certain incidents that took place along the journey. Yes.
One time, Baba had sent to ask for bhiksha, and so they brought very good bhiksha, cooked vegetables and handmade bread and all that. And that is like a delicacy to us because we had to only have dal and rice. So that was very nice bhiksha they got, enough. So they had all tied in a container, and there was also flour, wheat flour, which would come also useful. But all that, as soon as we reached camp, everything was tied to a tree, that the dogs should not get at it because there were stray dogs or something. So it's tied to a tree. So what happened? Now the Mandli got busy looking after the animals and doing their own chores and all this, and we were doing ours near the caravan. What all we had to do, and all that, prepare for Baba's tea. And by the time we hear people shouting, and what it was, in the bhiksha we had also got bananas, whatnot, nice big bundle was tied up on the tree like that. But monkeys came up. So many monkeys came on the tree and tore everything and robbed and ran away with all the bhiksha that was there. And the poor Mandli, and they just looked on, they couldn't do anything. And so the bhiksha that they were looking forward to have, so Baba did so that they couldn't eat that.
For a change, you see, it would be a change after so many days of the same thing.
So
and they couldn't even get angry with the monkeys because it just hadn't to get angry.
Of course, they had to shoo them away, but... So these little things, happen.
Yes, and then Dr. Ghani, he was the one who was able to procure the bhiksha. He told Baba that he hadn't got the strength to walk. But then if he went in the tonga, then he could get the way he talked to people, they'd give it to him. So one time, I think he outdid himself because people wanted to join our group also. Yes, always, you see, people asked who we were, where we were going, and Baba had said that always give the answer that you're going to Haridwar. And Haridwar is one of the biggest places of pilgrimage in India, and it was nearing the time of the Mela.
Kumbh Mela.
The Kumbh Mela was then. So you see, every Hindu in the whole of India would know about Haridwar and the Mela, and so they'd give us more respect And they feel that here we were walking all that journey there, which they
By
wouldn't
foot.
be doing. So you see, Dr. Ghani, when he came, he returned and he was telling that not he had to persuade them to give the bhiksha, but dissuade them to join us. And that amused Baba also.
Because Haridwar, Rishikesh is very near to each other, and both are holy places because the Ganges, these two places are at the foot of the Himalayas, and the source of the Ganges, this river, is nearest to the source of the Ganges. You see, after that it gets bigger, but this.
Is it up where near the Himalayas?
Yes, at the foot of the Himalayas, not in the Himalayas. So that is all near Dehradun. Just some miles away, 2 hours or 1.5 hour by train. You go to Haridwar, Rishikesh. So what Baba wanted us to answer was right, that we were going to Haridwar.
And
Because when we stayed in Dehradun, then we did go to Kumbh Mela, to Haridwar. We did visit Haridwar.
And from Rishikesh, you see, the people, I mean, the mountains begin, the Himalayas begin, so those who want to go to the source of the Ganges, Badrinath and all those places, they're high in the mountains.
In the new life, you never did go. How far did you go? Did you go to
Rishikesh.
And then you came.
Rishikesh, there's a very beautiful bridge. It's called the Lakshman Jula. Means Lakshman is Ram's brother who accompanied Ram in his exile. Jula means swing. You swing on it. So, but because that has no support.
Suspension bridge.
It's very narrowish like that. When you walk, it wiggles so you feel so, how would you say, scared to walk over. But Baba being with us, of course.
It's just for pedestrians.
Footbridge.
Donkeys and mules could go over it, otherwise carriages can't.
Did you, for instance, when when you weren't in the new life, you cooked for Baba, you cared for Baba in that way. In the new life, did you still care for Baba that way?
On the way, Kakaji had to cook always.
Yes, but did you attend to Baba's needs?
Yes, in the way, cleaning his dishes and seeing to his drinking water, giving water to wash his hands, and preparing tea and breakfast.
His
Baba
tent
come
had
and
to
sit
be
now.
put up every
So,
day.
the carpet has to be, put in and see Baba's comfort. Otherwise, and Baba ate with us and breakfast with us. But cooking actually and tea, the Mandli did.
You see, the tent had to be put up every day, and then that the Mandli did. But afterwards, everything arranged in the tent, his bedding and things. Then Mehera and I used to look after that. See, everything had to, for the night, you see, everything had, every detail done. And then repacking it the next morning.
We had the two little donkeys with us, and we made kind of sacks to put on their back, that they could carry weight on their back, So when the morning, when it was 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, by then the sun was quite warm on our back, so we would take off our warm, but you couldn't carry them because we had to walk fast like that, and that was not comfortable to walk with things on your arm for a long time, for many miles. So on the donkey's back we put our warm things in it, even our socks and every one of us. So
so naturally, all those two bags used to be quite filled up with everyone discarding their own things. So when we went through the town, sometimes people would ask us, were we merchants selling all these things?
Well, you must have created quite a sight and sensation when you went through these places.
Yes, they just couldn't make us out of who
And you couldn't say who Baba was or anything. Huh?
Always we had to say that Baba is our big brother, our elder brother.
Not to give out Baba's identity, that he is the perfect master. That time we used to call Baba Sadguru, no? Perfect master. देखा होता है तरीके नहीं बोला
Perfect master.
Coffee master, and later on Baba.
Well, we always
And
thought of him as God, Khodai.
Yes, that is. And what I started to say, but I forgot.
Does it mean when we started gathering?
Yes, that is
the
what I
wood?
meant. Yes. So the sacks were on the two little donkeys. So one sack was meant for what if we receive bhiksha or eating things. That is, there was empty these bowls were, but we put in that because if Baba goes somewhere with the mandi for bhiksha, then that bowl should be there. So these things we can't carry and walk for miles and miles. So all this was put in the sack on the back of the donkeys, But now,
But then on the way,
so when walking on the way, what happens is when we get to our destination, every morning it is very, very, very cold. So we don't want Baba to wash his face with cold water because we wanted Baba to have a bit of warm water. How to heat it? So we must have wood, and we are not supposed to buy wood. So what we did, walking on our way, we would go on, the trees on the side of the roads. Well, the little sticks, that tiny little twig, any little thing, wood we found, fuel, you call it.
That could be used as fuel.
Yes, we had to pay, yes, we go around here. That is why it took time for us to catch up with Baba, because we wanted to gather enough firewood that we could heat the water for Baba next morning, you see. And so walking also, bending down, we had very good exercise, and that has made us more hungry, I think. Yes.
So you put this in the donkey?
Yes, so one sack was empty with put all sticks like that. So some people would cross them. They would all look at us. We must have looked so funny. People in some sacks there were clothes, some sacks there were sticks sticking out, and the sight was very funny.
You always had to be cheerful.
Yeah, that's it. Cheerful and not to be irritated or like that. Irritated means with each other. If we come on, do this.
Whatever the circumstances, always be cheerful, not give in to anger or think the heat of the
very
moment.
hard,
Very hard is because the circumstances was sometimes so that it was very difficult to do that. But there's one person came to know we were in Moradabad, but this person is living in Delhi.
Yes.
This person was a Baba lover, and he found out that Baba accepts alms, as you can say, bhiksha. So he got a very good idea. He said, I am so far away, how can I give bhiksha to Baba? So he found a very nice idea. He had a very big shop of blankets and warm things, Sure, what do you call it? Jackets and coats and jumpers and
sweaters.
All warm things. What is that shop called? Not hosiery shop.
Woolen goods.
Yes.
Woolen goods like that.
Dry goods.
So this person it's a clever idea he had. He asked Baba, can he give bhiksha? Baba said yes. Then he said, you said yes, Baba, then I give bhiksha, all warm clothes to all your mandali and mandali because they are going north, so I want to give you warm clothes. So he gave blankets for Baba as well as for all of us, and little, kind of sweaters, but they were such woolen, not such
light sweaters, not
superior
very
kind.
heavy.
They were ordinary kind, but they were sweaters and jackets and sweaters. Some were warm, but most of them were ordinary. But even those also came very
Warm
useful.
I bet you're glad that they
Yes, he was so
Everything.
happy, Baba was also glad, and he had all this arrayed around him, and Baba was sitting in the middle, and we women, Baba first told us to pick and choose what we wanted. So we got a blanket and this thing, and then Baba took everything to the mandali, and there he divided among them, and they were also quite happy to have these warm things, and because it was getting colder and colder. As we went north, it got more and more cold because it was winter in the Himalayas, the snow-capped mountains, it was very cold up there. So it has to be experienced in the new life, just to talk about it like that.
You see, the circumstances were such. You weren't sleeping in a house. The Mandli was sleeping out in the open. Baba was sleeping in the tent. And even in the inside of the tent, dew would gather, that moisture would gather.
Thin material.
There was no protection. So that is why, and then starting early in the morning, waking up at 4, before sunrise, the journey would start. Walking all day, not having enough food to eat.
And even
And in the evening, not having privacy when we stopped at the camp. All these things added up, you see,
And
no
then yet-
comforts whatever.
you have to be cheerful and
And yet Baba was so cheerful and so energetic. He was the spirit, and he helped
of course he was
us
the backbone of the
to
whole.
us to have the strength to do it also.
Because of Baba, we could pull through, and how would you say, we felt happy and loved to do whatever he told us to walk, and even if we're hungry, we don't eat anything. We have to wait till Kakaji reaches destination. When Kakas finish cooking, then we eat so late. And the breakfast is no breakfast, hardly any.
At
So-
one time, Dr. Donkin, such a big, tall figure of a person, and what the others could stand, he one time got this awful hunger pain in his stomach. And here we had stopped for the afternoon. We were going to have something to eat. And because, you see, they'd got the bhiksha. And when this happened to Dr. Donkin, Baba fed him all the bhiksha. Everything that was there was fed to him, and only then he felt better. So we didn't know about it. Later on we said, Kabir, where's the bhiksha? Where is that lunch we're going? There's none now. You're not having any. So you see all these little things.
Baba would take care of everything and everyone.
When crisis like that came, Baba was always there to help out, because no one could have taken it and given it to Donkin.
Baba lived this
But
life
Baba,
with you, didn't he?
yeah.
Yes, exactly. Everything Baba did it. And he had the same white robe, of a thick material. Not the sadra, it's different. But over the sadra he wore this white thickish robe and green dark turban. And Baba looked very beautiful. Very beautiful. Dark turban, white robe like that. And walking with that bhiksha bag around his shoulder.
Did you tell that first day how we were stopped by the police when we started from Benares? That first day we started from Benares, we were waiting because we were overtaken by some police they weren't in uniform, incognito, but plain clothes. And they saw us, the women sitting by ourselves under the tree there, and they sort of passed a scoffing remark. And then further on, Ghavet took them over to where Baba and Erich were. And where Baba said, let Erich speak to them. And the thing is that you see, seeing all the men in this one uniform and the women, that first day Baba said, you must all wear this one color sari and go. Next day from that, later on you can wear any clothes the women could wear, what they wished, what was comfortable for the walking. So it later turned, you see, then they went to this empty house over here, one-room house that was empty there, and Erich came, talked to them, and then after that they were very contrite, very sorry and apologizing. But the thing is that, you see, they thought that there was this communist movement was going on and that we were part of the political movement, and so they'd come to investigate. And then as they were leaving, they just pleaded that they have just 1 minute to see Baba if he would permit, and then Baba allowed them to see him.
Wow. That's a good story.
And then when we stopped at this first place, we had come earlier, and then the caravan and the carts and the camel and Dr. Donkin leading the horse. He was first leading the horse. It was like a
Tableau.
Yes, like a tableau being, we never forget that. And I think Padre was there that first day when we stopped, because he had come to he brought the caravan from Nagar. And he said, oh, if only I had a camera, if only a movie was taken. Baba said, no pictures, nothing. You could see it as it was going before our eyes. It was like a caravan of olden time with that musical sound of the bell.
And the camel had this big bell, and as it walked, it went tingling, tingling. Very beautiful sound. And the Mandli with the white robes and the green turbans, all in the same attire.
And the caravan was last, and to the caravan was tied the 2 donkeys whom Gustaji had to look after. And he said, in all my life, I've never been so disturbed about an animal, because he knew how to handle horses and things. But he said, these donkeys just wouldn't budge. In the end, they were tied to the caravan and they were being dragged. The poor bulls not only had to take the caravan, but drag the donkeys, who were resisting all the way. And then when Baba was telling Mehera and all about it, then Mehera said, but you must never lead a donkey. You must whack it on the rump from the back and let it run before you. So then when we took them in hand the next day, sure enough,
weight on their back also.
Weight on their back, and then with a stick at the back, and sure enough, and then they liked it that way.
They were quite happy, and they trotted fast. Then we made sacks for their backs to put in our clothes and other things. We had all new ideas. They all came useful.
The first few miles they walked very well, but when they got to 8, 10, 12, 15, sometimes even 20 miles on occasion, then the poor donkey started feeling hungry and wanted to graze on the way. And then, you see, Mani and I were responsible for donkeys on the road. They had to keep up with the rest. And Baba would say, where are they? Why are they so far behind? And we tried to get them forward to come and to obey.
They're very tired. They're not used to walking many miles in one, how would you say? At a time, so many miles.
They wanted to rest a bit, graze a bit, and then start again.
When we reached Dehra Dun from Najibabad, we were told that we couldn't go on foot to Dehra Dun now. From Najibabad to Dehra Dun, there will be thick forests. And in the forest, there will be elephants or any wild animals. So we were advised not to go on foot. So then Baba said, it's only a few, 2 or 3 hours run, or 3 hours run, I don't know. We must go in the train. So from Najibabad, we went in the train, but it was very early in Najibabad. It was kind of a garden thing, very big, like a rambling garden.
Where the caravans, where the camp was in a garden.
So Baba knocked on the door very early in the morning. We had to jump out. It was so warm and cozy in the caravan in our beddings, and when we jumped out, it was so cold outside because no roof. We had to jump out in the stars under the sky, and it was so very, very freezing cold. And then we started doing washing our face with cold water and all that. Quickly get ready Baba's water and for Baba to shave and everything. By that time, tea is coming, so we're doing everything fast, and it's dark with one lantern here, one lantern there. Then we all got, after breakfast, we all got dressed to go to the station with Baba to board the train. So Baba and we 4 girls went to the station. And then on the station also such a sight, everybody was so cold, these Hindus and all the people, all wrapped up in the blankets sitting on the platform, and everybody shivering. Now,
no.
We hadn't had our tea because to have tea would take long. So Baba wanted us. Baba always wants to be ready before, even if it has to be 15 minutes. Baba will be 3/4 of an hour earlier than that time. Baba always wanted to be early and quick and all that. So we were on the station earlier than the train would come. And we were standing there in the cold. Baba said, wait here. Baba's going to talk to the mandali. So we went and talked to the mandali. So Baba was with the mandali most of the time. And we girls were standing here. And standing on the platform, very cold like this. We saw the train was coming and going like that. One train went and another train had come in students' place. And then I watched like this side. And I saw a butler, a well-dressed butler, in livery and all that. And he brought a tray in his hand with tea things on it. Lovely shining kettle and teacups and whatnot, everything, breakfast thing. And he was carrying it with him. And you should have seen our faces. Our mouths were watering to see that tea and the breakfast in it. And so when the butler came and went, the next time again he went to fetch more. So this time I got an idea. Gaver, in the meantime she was with Baba, I think. But when she came back to us. So I got an idea. I said, and I saw the butler coming. So when he was nearing us, I told Gaver, that butler is bringing tea for us. Oh, really? And because Gaver is as a great tea drinker. She loves to have tea at any time of the day. So she was so happy. Oh, yes, sir. That's very nice. I think Baba must have sent it or something. So she, as the butler came near, she went up to the butler and said, oh, yes, here we are. This tea is meant for us, Then she said, "Acha, hum lenga kar." So so butler says, "No, madam, tumhara nahi hai. This is not for you." Gavar said, "Yes, of course." The butler. I said, "Gavar, I'm fooling with you. Don't do it." And Gavar was so disappointed that I was just joking, but the joke went too far and it was becoming serious like that. And butler had to snatch the tray from my hand and said, "No, it is not for you. It is for the gentleman in the carriage." And of course Gavar had to laugh about it and we teased Gavar. Then after we got in the train, after more than half an hour passed, and then we were told to board the train. And when the train was running and all that, I don't know, it was so cold in the train, you have no idea. We were all curled up like that and feeling cold. And the leather, the upholstery was ice cold and we didn't have beddings. We were just in our warm clothes like that. Wind blowing here. We had no idea of getting any blankets separate on our arm to cover ourselves or anything. Ice cold winds like that. But we said, when will we have tea? When will we have tea? Then at last, after many stations, and very big station came. And that time, then Baba sent tea. But before that, he let us be without tea, because then we must go through some little difficulty, Then at last, when the tea came, oh my, we were hungry as hunters. We were having nice toast and butter and nice hot tea. Each had a tray, and it was very nice. And then after that, we felt better. So that is, we reached Dehradun. But then when we reached Dehradun, there, Kumar, Kumar, have you heard of Kumar? He met Baba first there, and all that. Baba talked with the Mandali and Kumar, and that's another story. But we were in the waiting room, then Baba told us that we were now going to a nice place. So we said, how nice will the place be? Because we always, whenever we got a house, it was not nice kind of house, which you were very comfortable, something like that. So this time we said, it must be an ordinary house, but anyway, it will be a roof over our head, and we will have a bathroom, we'll wash ourselves and our hair. We haven't washed our head for so many days and like that, and we are planning all that. So we said, all right, Baba. And then when the car came, we all got in the car and went through Dehradun town. We had been to Dehradun 2 or 3 times before that. Then we came down the main road, and our car came to a gate. And what do you think? It was such a new and nice gate. And when we went inside, what do you think? Lovely lawn and rose bushes. And you have no idea, it was very beautiful. One side was an orchard of fruit trees. And when we came on the drive was quite, from the gate to the house, it was lovely drive. And when we came to the bungalow, it was such a lovely house. I said, what a beautiful house we're going to stay in. And then we got down, and then when we got into the drawing room, of course, it was a nice drawing room with the piano and whatnot, but the paintings and photos that were on the wall, they were put down. They're supposed to be sold and all that. So now that's another story, but I won't tell you about this. Baba told us to go to the other side of the house. There's a drawing room, and this side, one set of bedroom,
wing of the house.
and this is one wing of the house. So Baba said to go that side and then shut the door, and we women can be private here. So we all got there. We were so happy. There were lovely carpets on the bedroom, and an electric little stove near the fireplace and all that, and nice furnished house, with beds and mattress and everything. So all this was like luxury to us. So I said, Gavi, oh, this is very nice. How comfortable we'll be, nice and warm for once, and nice house, and how nice to stay here, and we'll all get washed and tidy and everything and all that. And we're planning that we will stay for a few days, and it'll be all okay. And how nice that Baba has brought us to a nice place for once like that, And now this house belonged to an English lady,
પણ પછી બાબા પછી તરત જ કહ્યું કે રેસ્પી ના કરો
ખબર છે તે જ બોલો મને યાદ ના આવે આસ્તે બોલવાનું અવાજ આવે So then, as this is what મેં બોલ્યું ઘણા રહેવાનું છે. So we were planning to stay long. We will be many days, so we were glad. But after we were unpacking very fast, quickly, then bring out Baba's glass of water to make the water warm, because we wanted Baba to drink the cold, ice cold water is not so good. It's very cold, the water, also drinking water very cold. So it will be nice. So I asked Gavi how to light the electric stove. It was tiny one. So Gavi showed me, and I was very happy. How nice. Quickly we can make water warm for Baba. It's so cold, so everything's so comfortable and nice. And electric stove and all. I was so happy. And I quickly made the water hot and put it in a flask and all that. If Baba wants water drinking, everything. And Gavi went out, and next minute she came in and said, "No, girls, don't unpack. I said, why? No, Baba says tomorrow we have to leave. Why tomorrow? But we have hardly rested and tidied up anything. Just tomorrow? How can it be? Yes, Baba says we can't stay here longer. There's some complication about the house, and we can't stay here long. Oh, we were always so disappointed, This is what I said about new life, is like 1 minute like this and next minute again like that. So we said, what a shame, wish we could stay here longer, and how nice it would be so comfortable. There's running water and bathrooms and this and that. And so we all also want to wash our hair and bathe and this and that. What shall we do now? I said, Gavi, where is Baba? She says, Baba's talking to the mandali. I said, no, tell Baba that we want to talk to him for 1 minute. When Baba comes, I'm going to tell Baba that we want to stay here. We don't want to go away. At least for 2 days we must stay. He must allow us 2 days. Like that, So Gavi must have told Baba that girls want to talk to you. So Baba, after finishing his talk, Baba came inside and told us, it's a nice house, isn't it? Now, yes, Baba, it's a very nice house. But why have we to go away tomorrow? Because we want to tidy up and get ourselves washed and this, and there's so many clothes to be washed, so many this and that and everything. So Baba said, but this house is that we can't stay for long. All right, you want to stay 2 days here? I said, yes, Baba, 2-3 days would be nice, because then we feel comfortable. Then it is convenient here, so it'll be easy for us to do everything we want to do, wash our clothes.
It's a convenient house.
Very convenient house. We had 2 lovely bathrooms both sides, and 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms and all that. So Baba said, all right, I will see. And Baba was so
considerate.
So considerate, and he was so sweet. He quickly went outside, and he went and told the mandali that we want to stay here for 2-3 days. See that it is arranged that way. So then the Mandali, of course, arranged it. Now, what happened, to tell you this story, I want to tell you that out of all the Dehradun houses, this house was chosen for Baba. And Baba, as if it was Baba, put it in the person's head to choose this house, what I want to say, Baba wanted this house. It happened just like that because, now why I'll tell you. In this house, there were a couple of English couple. I'll just come 1 minute. It happened that there was a couple staying there, elderly lady with her husband. Their name was Mr. and Mrs. Angelos. These were English couple, English. So next day, and Baba knowing in his, Baba being all-knowing, he told the Mandali to go and speak to this couple and ask about their life and themselves and all that. So the Mandali saw that was Baba's some reason must be. Otherwise Baba didn't want to be bothered with all this at such time. But so they went to ask the couple. And what did they think? It's such a sad story, the poor things there. They were completely stranded, these two. They had hardly any money to keep their body and soul together. They were just like that. Because it happened that, it's a long story, that they told the Mandali was that, in the Second World War, this couple had two sons, and they both went to war. And both the sons were killed in the war. So they were without children, and there were no relations in India. They had no relations in India. Now, the story goes that he was a major. This Englishman was a major, and he was not very elderly. He was maybe in 50s or something. It so happened that his story is that, in this house, this lovely house, Mrs. Pratt was living. She was a very, very rich lady, English lady. And she was very old, and she had no relations there. But it so happened that this major and his wife were very friendly with her. She was friends with them, just come and go. So this lady used to tell Mr. Angelo to do some work for her, some administrative work, anything he used to do. Now it happened that years passed by like that, and of course the major was doing his job also as a major. When his two sons died, and then later he started to get his eyesight, eyesight was failing, that's right. So he was depressed, and so he gave up his job as a major. He did not do any more of that job. So before the retiring time, he gave up his job. So he did not get any pension. You see that what happened. Now, this English lady was very rich. So they were very friendly, and she was very nice to them. But she was a lady of temperamental, as you would say. Now she was very old lady, so she wanted to make a will. She had something written down, on a paper. What she had written, I don't know. So she told this person, to Major Angelo, to write this down for her. So he wrote it down. Then he brought it to her initially. She said, no, she found fault with it. She said, no, this is wrong, correct this, I don't want like that. So he brought it back, corrected and all that. Then again she found faults with it and said, no, this is right, this is not right, this, like that. And again he made, then 3-4 times she went on doing that. The poor man, it was not just one page, there were quite many pages. And so he was, and with his fading eyesight, he was typing for her and writing also, correcting also, and she went on doing that. Right, he was typing for her and writing also, correcting also, and she went on doing that so many times. He got very irritable. He got so angry, he took the pages in front of her and tore them all up. Poor boy, what can he do? Because she tried his patience, so he was very this thing. And so this lady got so angry that she had put some, in, what do you call it? In a paisa. Paisa log left in property. She had left this couple certain amount of money. Banglo nahi apelo. Banglo rewa ke lo. Well, anyway, left them money and all that. So, but when he got irritable like that, that person, when you're angry, you forget to be like this, take care of the situation. This old lady got so angry that she cut out all the will that she had done. She changed it, and no money was left to them. So they were stranded that way also. But she let them stay in the house, and in her will she wrote that up to so many years they can live in this house. But after that, not. Maybe after she dies or something. That I don't remember, but it is that. So maybe 3 or 5 years, or 7 years. So these people, poor things, they were staying in that house. It was very nice and comfortable, and it was, how would you say, all furnished, and everything was very nice and beautiful place and beautiful compound, as I said, with orchard and flower garden, everything. But they were completely stranded, these people. And the date she had given was that year. They would have had to go out of their house with no much money, So they were completely stranded. So it happened that Baba came to this house to actually help them. It happens that, isn't it? We being Baba lovers, we at once we know that it is Allah. So let me see now what happens. To write to his brother, because here we're not supposed to touch money that way, and deal with money that way. So Baba told Dr. Donkin to write to his brother in England to send so much money or money, and to give it to this couple that they should have passage to go to England, because they wanted to go to England because all the family were in England. So Baba arranged that, and the money came, and they were given the money. By the time we had vacated, we came away from there after 3 days and came to stay in another place, mosquitoes. So yes, and they were so grateful, the couple, that Baba had come to help them, and so they had so much love and respect for Baba. So whenever they saw Baba, they would be very look at Baba very lovingly. And then when we went to stay in another place that is very far away from Dehradun, it was outside Dehradun, where this person Kumar, he was staying there because he had what do you call it, field and land and all that.
Yeah,
Property. So he was doing farming. You see, he was doing farming. So Baba liked that place. It was a way outside the city, and there was a nice little house, and we stayed there. So this couple, when they received the money, they were so happy. They had packed and they were ready to, and their tickets had come, and they were. Now in Meherazad, even after the first accident, Baba used to come walking from upstairs to the dining room, and I used to attend on him, to give him the shaving set and to help him to wash his face. That is to, of course, Meheru is to bring the warm water, otherwise to pour water in his hand or give him the towel and the soap. So I had to be in the bathroom with Baba to see to his needs. And then after that, Baba is to come and have his breakfast. In those days, Baba did not take proper breakfast, only a banana and tea, or sometimes just tea. Then later on, we asked Baba he should have better breakfast to give him more nourishment. So when Baba was eating, in those days we had bread crumbs on the windowsill. A little bird, robin, used to come and eat those breadcrumbs, and the window was on Baba's side, a little at the back, so Baba could not see it like that unless he turned his head. So Baba, whilst having his breakfast, we would tell Baba the bird has come, is eating. Baba would look with a happy smile and so, yes, let it eat, don't disturb it. And when having breakfast, Baba again asked us, is the bird still there eating? We would say, yes, Baba, yes, let it eat. And so Baba would be so concerned about the bird that it should eat well and feel happy. So that shows how much Baba even loved birds as well as animals, and of course human beings he loved, and how much he loves all his lovers. Baba is love. One day Baba asked me, how many different kinds of birds have we in the compound, means in the trees in Meherazad, staying here permanently? So I told him all the names, that there was the robins, the bulbul, and the maina, the salanku, and the tailor bird, and the doves. Baba said, oh yes, I love the doves, Baba. Baba said that I love the little doves. They walk like this,
The way they
sideways.
waddle when they walk.
They waddle when they walk. So Baba said, I love them. They look very sweet. And Baba said, yes, they are fortunate to be here because Baba is also in Meherazad, so they are also having the same atmosphere where Baba is. After having breakfast, Baba used to still be seated at the table, and so because he loved music, Gavel would bring the radio and play it for Baba, and Baba enjoyed music. If there was a song with a beautiful voice, Baba of course enjoyed it better, but he loved Qawwali songs, and so when once in a while the Qawwali program was on, Baba would wait and to listen, but it was to be late to go to the mandali, so Baba would say, now it is time for me to leave. So when Baba is to come towards the veranda, I would carry the radio following Baba, that Baba should hear the last bit of song also, because Baba loved the song. And when he went in the mandali's hall, there I handed to Gavit, take it to Baba, that he should hear the song, the whole song, the end of the song also. And so Baba used to love to hear Qawwali very much. Then when Baba used to come out on the veranda one day, he was standing and looking at the garden. I said, Baba, the soil is so poor and it takes a lot of work to bring up so many to bring up flowers and fruit. If the soil had more nourishment and rich soil, it would have been so much better to grow the garden, so much easier, and how much more flowers we would have had and more fruit and as well as vegetable growing here. Baba says, no, what's the use of that to have good soil? I like it like this. When the soil is poor and you have to see to it and work hard in the garden to bring up each plant, to bring the soil in and to see to that they should flourish. You put in so much work and do it so much love. That is what I appreciate. What is the use if it was easy to grow a garden? I like it just as it is. And so Baba would smile, and of course we would also agree with Baba. Baba was so sweet in every way. A real darling. He was so adorable, Baba. Beloved Baba. In early days in Meherazad, Baba used to be up very early, and of course we had to be also and Baba took us for walks very early in the morning, and we used to go by the lake. Also we used to see sunrise sometimes from Baba's own seclusion hill when we climbed it with him. Once I remember Baba, in 1947 I think it was, that his first seclusion, his cabin was built there and he was to be in seclusion. So he told us to come with him to see the cabin that is built new for his seclusion. So we accompanied Baba up the hill and we climbed, and Baba was so swift and beautifully climbed fast up, and then he would look back and say, now come on, hurry up, come walk quickly. And so we used to all come up to him, and then when the first plateau came, Baba said, now very little bit is left, now we will go up where my cabin is. And so Baba climbed up first, and the others also who climb up fast climbed up. I was climbing, but there's a path that is very rather a small path that is very steep going up towards Baba's cabin, and there I found myself feeling giddy because I can't stand heights. So I didn't know what to do. I was feeling afraid. So I put my two hands down, and so I was crawling up very slowly with hands and feet. And when Baba turned round to see, he said, what's happened? Are you afraid? And so he quickly came towards me and held out his hand and told me to hold his hand. Quickly, hold my hand, So he's putting out his hand, telling me to hold his hand. I quickly held his hand, and Baba, with a firm and strong grip, with a strong arm, he pulled me up very easily. And then he asked me, are you afraid now? I said, no, Baba. I said, okay. And then Baba showed me, see how lovely the view is from up here. And this is my cabin, see inside how you like it. And the others also, Baba told them also to come inside and see the cabin. So we all went inside to see the cabin. It was very small. And we took some photographs of Baba. We had a flower garland for Baba, and we photographed Baba. Norina Machiavelli was there, Princess Norina Machiavelli, and Elizabeth Patterson, and we girls were with Baba. And all the hills that we see around Meherazad, all these hills Baba has climbed. One time in, I don't know actually the year, I think it is 47, early 47, because Norina was here, Elizabeth was here, and so we used to go walking far away. But that time Baba used to tell Elizabeth to take us in the car to a
47, 48.
47, 48. So, so Baba loved to climb hills also. Baba loved his walks very much. He loved to walk. And so Elizabeth would take us in her car to the foot of the hill, I mean on the main road, and we would get down and go towards in the field, walk a little distance in the field, and then start climbing the hill. And Baba would climb so fast. Of course, we had tennis shoes for Baba because Baba couldn't possibly climb with his open sandals like this. So then we all would do our best to climb, but we could never keep up with Baba. We were always lagging behind. And Gavel was always slipping, so two of us would hold her hand and pull her up. And so all the hills around Meherazad Baba has climbed. There is Manjar Suba, where there's a fort, and there's
Happy Valley.
Fort also, and then Happy Valley is not a hill.
No, near Happy Valley, Manjar Suba.
Near Happy Valley. And there's Gorakhnath. Gorakhnath was a perfect master of his time, and his place is there. I think it's his body rests there. There's kind of a little temple. And so Baba one day took us there also. It's a very high hill and took us quite a time to climb.
Quite a strenuous climb.
And it was a strenuous climb, but we were many of us from Meherabad. Many had come, the ladies who were in Meherabad, and some of us from Meherazad. We all went climbing Gorakhnath. But the other hills we were alone with Baba to climb. Mani, Gaver, Meheru and myself used to climb the hills with Baba all around in Meheru. Everything means also, children and human beings. And as once Baba was asked, whom do you love? Baba said, all humanity. Baba was so sweet in every way. Real darling, he was so adorable, Baba. Beloved Baba.